Have a look in your kitchen cupboards. Go on, right now. What do you see? You might find colorful boxes of cereal, packets of crisps, fizzy drinks, and maybe a frozen pizza waiting for a busy night. We think of this as normal food, the stuff that fills our homes and our bellies. But a lot of what we buy isn't really food in the traditional sense. It's something else, something that scientists are now calling ultra-processed food, or UPFs for short. These products are silently taking over our diets, and brilliant people in white coats are now telling us it's a massive problem for our health. It's a hidden crisis happening in every kitchen, on every street, in every town across America. So what exactly are these ultra-processed foods? The simplest way to think about them is this. They are industrial creations. They are made in factories using ingredients you wouldn't find in your own kitchen. Think about things like hydrogenated oils, high fructose corn syrup, protein isolates, and all sorts of artificial colors and flavors. These aren't things you chop on a cutting board. They are substances designed to make food last longer on a shelf, taste incredibly addictive, and be super cheap to produce. We're talking about most breakfast cereals, sugary yogurts, instant noodles, chicken nuggets, and even many types of sliced bread that stay soft for weeks. It's food that has been changed so much it's barely recognizable from its original state. The scariest part is how much of this stuff we are eating. The latest numbers from top universities like Johns Hopkins are staggering truly. Studies as recent as last year, 2024, show that ultra-processed foods now make up nearly 60% of the daily calories for the average American adult. And it's even worse for our kids, our beautiful children, with some data suggesting it's closer to 70% for them. That means for every 10 bites of food a child takes, 7 of them could be from these factory-made products. It's a huge shift from how our grandparents ate, moving away from fresh, simple ingredients and towards convenient, packaged goods that are filling us up but letting us down. This isn't just about a few unhealthy snacks here and there. This has become the foundation of the modern American diet. Think about a typical day. A sugary cereal for breakfast, a pre-packaged sandwich with processed meat for lunch, a bag of crisps in the afternoon, and a frozen pizza or takeaway for dinner. All washed down with a sugary soda or an artificially sweetened drink. Every single one of those items is likely an ultra-processed food. We've slowly, without even realizing it, handed over our food culture to large corporations whose main goal is to sell more products, not to nourish our families. It's time we woke up and understood what we're truly putting on our plates. For years, we've been told to watch our sugar, salt, and fat. That's good advice, of course. But the new research is showing us something even more frightening. It's not just about these individual nutrients. It's the entire industrial process that's causing harm. When you eat a diet high in ultra-processed foods, you're putting your body at a much higher risk for serious health problems. The evidence is now overwhelming, with massive studies confirming the links. A huge review in 2024, looking at data from nearly 10 million people, found that high consumption of these foods dramatically increases the risk of heart disease and early death. It's a health emergency that we can no longer afford to ignore. Let's talk about the specific risks, because the numbers are truly shocking. The same massive 2024 review found that people with the highest intake of UPFs have a 55% increased risk of becoming obese and a 40% increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes. That's massive. And it doesn't stop there. Another big study from 2022 found that men who ate the most UPFs had a 29% higher risk of getting colorectal cancer. We are not just talking about gaining a few pounds. We are talking about life-changing, chronic diseases that are putting an incredible strain on people's lives, their families, and our entire healthcare system. These foods are literally making us sick from the inside out. It's not just our physical health that's at stake either. Our brains are suffering too. More and more research is connecting a diet full of UPFs to our mental well-being. The same incredible 2024 review I mentioned earlier linked high UPF consumption to a 48% increased risk of anxiety and a 20% increased risk of depression. Think about that. The food we eat could be directly contributing to the mental health crisis we see all around us, especially among our young people. It makes sense, really. Our brains need proper fuel, vitamins, minerals, and good fats from real food. When we feed them junk, they can't function properly. It's time we connected the dots between what's on our plate and what's in our head. The most dangerous part is that these foods are designed to be addictive. They hit what scientists call the bliss point, a perfect combination of salt, sugar, and fat that our brains find irresistible. This leads to overconsumption. A groundbreaking study from the National Institutes of Health found that when people were given an unlimited UPF diet, they ate about 500 extra calories per day compared to when they were given a diet of whole foods. They couldn't help it, and they gained weight. This isn't a failure of willpower, it's a biological response to food that has been engineered to make us eat more and more. It's a trap, and millions of us have fallen into it. So if this food is so bad for us, why is it everywhere? Why do our shopping trolleys end up full of it? There are 3 big reasons, and they are powerful: taste, cost, and convenience. Let's start with taste. Ultra-processed foods are not just made to be tasty. They are scientifically engineered to be hyper-palatable. Food scientists in labs spend their whole careers finding the exact amount of sugar, fat, and salt that will light up the pleasure centers in our brains like a pinball machine. That crispy crunch of a chip, the fizzy sweetness of a soda, or the gooey melt of a frozen pizza. These sensations are carefully designed to make you want more. It's not an accident, it's a business strategy. Then there's the cost. For so many hardworking families, money is tight. When you're standing in the supermarket and you have to choose between a big box of cheap chicken nuggets that will feed the whole family for a few dollars versus buying fresh chicken breasts, vegetables, and herbs, the choice can feel obvious. Ultra-processed foods are often much cheaper to buy than fresh, whole ingredients. This is because they are made from low-cost, government-subsidized commodity crops like corn, wheat, and soy, which are then processed into cheap fillers, fats, and sweeteners. This creates a terrible situation where the unhealthiest food is often the most affordable, punishing the people who have the least. And finally, there's convenience. We live in a fast-paced world. Parents are working long hours, juggling jobs, school runs, and everything else life throws at them. The idea of coming home after a grueling day and spending an hour cooking a meal from scratch can feel impossible. This is where ultra-processed foods swoop in like a superhero. That frozen lasagna you can just pop in the oven, the instant soup that's ready in 2 minutes, the cereal bar you can eat on the go, they promise to save us time and effort. And they do. But that convenience comes at a very high price, a price we are paying with our health and the health of our children. This combination of addictive taste, low cost, and ultimate convenience creates a perfect storm. It makes choosing ultra-processed foods feel like the easiest, most logical option, especially for busy families on a budget. The food industry understands this perfectly. They spend billions of dollars on advertising to reinforce this message, showing happy families sharing a bottle of soda or a bucket of fried chicken. They are selling us a solution to the pressures of modern life. But the solution they're offering is, in reality, a huge part of the problem. We are being sold a lie, and it's time to see it for what it is. So what's the answer? It can feel overwhelming, but I promise you, it's not about being perfect. It's about making small, positive changes. Health experts from Stanford to the CDC are all saying the same thing. We need to reduce the amount of ultra-processed food in our diet and replace it with real, whole, or minimally processed food. This means cooking more meals from scratch whenever you can. It means choosing an apple over a cereal bar, water over a fizzy drink, and a simple homemade pasta sauce over a jarred one full of sugar and preservatives. Every single time you make a swap like this, you are taking a powerful step towards better health for you and your family. One of the best things you can do is to start reading labels. If the ingredients list is super long and full of words you can't pronounce, it's probably an ultra-processed food. Try to fill your shopping trolley with things that don't even have an ingredients list. Things like fresh fruit, vegetables, eggs, and plain meat or fish. Think about food in its most natural state. A potato is a whole food. A bag of potato crisps is an ultra-processed food. A plain yogurt is minimally processed. A brightly colored, fruit-flavored yogurt with added sugar and thickeners is ultra-processed. Seeing this difference is the first step to changing how you shop and eat. This is especially important for our children. Their bodies and brains are still developing, and they are so vulnerable to the harmful effects of these foods. We have a responsibility to teach them what real food is. Getting kids involved in the kitchen is one of the most powerful things a parent can do. Let them wash the vegetables, stir the pot, or help you pack a healthy lunchbox. When children have a hand in making their food, they are much more likely to eat it. We can empower the next generation to have a better relationship with food, to understand where it comes from, and to love the taste of fresh, honest ingredients. This is the heart of the food revolution. Look, changing habits is hard, but it is so worth it. Start small. Try cooking one extra meal from scratch each week. Swap out sugary drinks for water infused with fruit. Make a big batch of soup or stew on the weekend that you can eat during the week. Every little bit helps. This isn't about guilt or blame, it's about empowerment. It's about knowledge. It's about taking back control from the big corporations and putting the power of good food back into our own hands. Our health and the future health of our kids depends on it. Let's get cooking.